Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet the results just don't come, as if there were an invisible force blocking your dreams, freezing your progress, delaying your prosperity? What if I told you there's a hidden shortcut, a forbidden mental code that can make you manifest faster than any spiritual guru has ever taught? This technique doesn't involve complicated rituals, nor does it require years of practice. It's within your mind right now, and it only takes 60 seconds to start working. In this video, you will discover a secret that unites science and spirituality, a powerful practice revealed by the studies of Jacobo Grinberg, the neuroscientist who proved that reality is a projection of the mind. If you apply what you're about to learn, your life can begin to reorganize in surprising ways. And while you're here, write in the comments, "I am ready to manifest with power and consciousness." This is not just a gesture, it's a vibrational activation. Let's create a chain of transformation together. Jacobo Grinberg wasn't just an ordinary scientist. He was a visionary, a Mexican neurophysiologist who dared to go beyond the boundaries of traditional science to investigate what few had the courage to explore: the creative power of the human mind. For decades, Grinberg studied how states of consciousness directly influence the construction of reality, and he came to a conclusion that challenges everything you think you know about the world. The reality you experience is not objective, but a projection of your brain's perceptual structure. In other words, what you see, feel, and experience on the outside is in fact a reflection of what's inside. But what makes Grinberg's studies so impactful and dangerous is that he didn't stop at theory. He investigated shamanic traditions, psychic phenomena, and altered states of perception, combining all of this with scientific rigor. His work resulted in what he called the synergic theory, which states that there is a unified neuronal field, a field of information that connects everything and everyone. It is within this field that the key to manifestation resides. When you change your inner frequency, you change your connection to this field, and reality inevitably responds. That's why the practice you'll learn in this video is so powerful. It takes advantage of a specific moment in your mental cycle to reprogram that connection with the field of possibilities, and the effects can be astonishing. Have you ever wondered why, despite so much effort, your external reality still reflects limitations, scarcity, and repetitions of the past? The answer may lie in what Jacobo Grinberg called the neuronal field, an invisible yet highly influential structure that defines not only what you perceive, but also what you are capable of experiencing. Grinberg claimed that reality is not something fixed, solid, or independent of you. In fact, it is a subjective construction shaped by deeply rooted mental patterns. These patterns, formed by past experiences, cultural beliefs, traumas, and unconscious repetitions, act as filters. They not only interpret what you see, but also select what you'll be able to see. That's why two people can live through exactly the same situation and react and feel completely differently. Each one is operating under a distinct perceptual structure fueled by their own neuronal field. At first glance, this theory may seem abstract, but it has practical, immediate implications. According to Grinberg, if you want to change your life, it's not enough to change your external actions. You must access the matrix where reality is generated, and that matrix is inside your mind. The neuronal field works like a holographic projector. It captures internal signals, beliefs, emotions, mental images, and converts them into experiences in the physical world. In other words, what you live outside is an extension of what you carry within. What's most striking is that this field doesn't operate neutrally. It responds to your vibration. If your predominant vibration is fear, scarcity, doubt, the field will adjust the surrounding reality to mirror that. If your vibration is confidence, abundance, and clarity, the field reorganizes the world around you to reflect those qualities. That means you're never simply observing reality. You're actively participating in its creation, even without realizing it. This perspective aligns with ancient spiritual traditions that have always taught that the outside world is a reflection of the inner world. But Grinberg went beyond metaphor. He sought scientific confirmation through experiments with electromagnetic fields, brain alterations induced by meditative states, and studies with shamans and mystics who seemed to transcend the limitations of space-time. To him, the mind is a malleable system, and any reality can be accessed if you manage to alter your internal perceptual structure. This discovery explains why so many attempts at change fail, because the person is trying to exchange the scenery without first changing the projector. They are trying to transform the screen without realizing that the film is still the same. Until the neuronal field is reprogrammed, life will keep delivering variations of the same experience. The good news, this field can be changed. With specific techniques, like the one you'll learn later in this video, it is possible to directly interfere with the frequency you emit, realign your perception, and thereby start attracting new experiences. It's like tuning into a new radio station. The music changes, not because the world changed, but because you changed your frequency. There is a particular moment of your day when the conscious mind weakens and the subconscious opens completely. This moment is not taught in schools. It's rarely mentioned by traditional masters, and yet it is one of the most powerful keys for inner transformation. This is the hypnagogic state, the transition between wakefulness and sleep. A mental portal where reality isn't yet defined and everything can be shaped. Jacobo Grinberg identified that, in this intermediate state, the mind's perceptual structure becomes highly influenceable. Why? Because the brain begins to operate predominantly on theta waves, the same waves that dominate a child's mind in early years when everything is absorbed without filters, with total openness and no rational judgment. It is precisely in this state that the neuronal field, the one that shapes your reality, becomes pliable, ready to receive new instructions. Most people have no idea what happens in that interval between wakefulness and sleep. They lie down, worried about debts, resentments, insecurities, negative memories, and without realizing it, they let that information enter straight into the subconscious, programming the next day to repeat exactly the same emotions. The cycle continues not because of a lack of willpower, but because the most powerful moment is being wasted. Now, imagine the opposite. You lie down with the clear intention of reprogramming your mind. Instead of anxiety, you feed confidence. Instead of lack, you evoke gratitude. Instead of doubt, you install certainty. By doing this in the hypnagogic state, the subconscious absorbs those emotions as concrete reality and begins to reconfigure your perception, your decisions, your behaviors, and inevitably, your life experience. Neville Goddard, one of the great names of conscious manifestation, also spoke of this moment with reverence. He stated that whatever you feel as true in the state before sleep will be imprinted into the physical world. Grinberg in turn explained this phenomenon from a neuroscientific perspective, saying that the neuronal field in this moment connects more intensely to the synergic field, a subtle information network that gives shape to reality. Thus, it isn't magic, but pure vibrational mechanics. The practical application is simple, but it requires awareness. To access this portal with power, you need to lie down in a calm environment, turn off external stimuli, and begin a process of deep relaxation. As the conscious mind starts dissolving, you take command of the imagination. At that moment, it is vital to avoid mental distractions and focus solely on what you want to create. Visualize your ideal reality. Feel the emotions as if they were already true, and repeat a powerful affirmation, always in the present tense. The secret doesn't lie only in the words, but in the emotion that accompanies them. The subconscious doesn't understand logical language. It responds to vibrations, and the most powerful vibration there is emotional certainty. When you fall asleep feeling prosperous, loved, guided, strong, your mind records that as an order. And because the neuronal field is a bridge between mind and reality, the external world begins to adjust. Many masters ignore this moment, focusing only on daytime meditations, morning visualizations, or loose affirmations. But whoever masters the hypnagogic state has their hands on the control panel of their existence. This is the true forbidden hack, using the most neglected moment of the day to rewrite your entire life. And when you do this night after night, something magical and inevitable starts to happen. The world around you will begin to mirror what you've programmed with clarity and intention, because the subconscious is the fertile soil where reality is born. Now that you understand the power of the neuronal field and the subconscious opening provided by the hypnagogic state, it's time to learn the technique itself, the forbidden code that, in just 60 seconds per night, can initiate profound reprogramming of your mind and vibrate a new reality around you. This practice is simple. It doesn't require any external object, any advanced course, any prior preparation. Everything you need is already with you: your body, your breath, your words, and your emotions. The key is how you unite these elements at the right moments. Conscious breathing. Lie down in a dark, calm environment. Bring your attention to your breathing. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the air for another 4 seconds, then exhale through your mouth, counting to 6. Repeat this cycle 3 times. This breathing pattern activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reduces alertness, and prepares the brain for theta waves, facilitating access to the subconscious. This is not just physical preparation, it is the opening of the vibrational portal. Conscious affirmation. With your body relaxed and your mind beginning to dissolve into the hypnagogic, move on to the second element, the conscious affirmation. Here, less is more. Choose a single, powerful, simple, and emotionally charged phrase. For example, everything I desire is already coming to me. I receive it with gratitude and confidence. Or, I'm a magnet for opportunities, abundance, and miracles. The secret is not to repeat mechanically, but to live the phrase. Say it mentally as if it were an absolute truth, not a future hope. You can repeat it 6 times, as suggested by techniques observed in Grinberg studies, because on the 6th cycle, a mental resistance breaks down and the information is absorbed as fact. What you feel during these repetitions is what will shape the neuronal field's vibration. Emotional visualization. After repeating the affirmation, close your eyes more deeply and begin to imagine real scenes of the life you want to live. But don't see yourself as an observer. Be inside the scene. See through your own eyes as if it were a first-person movie. See your bank account statement brimming. See yourself walking confidently, receiving good news, living with ease. Hear the sounds. Smell the scents. Touch the mental objects with your imagination's fingertips. And most importantly, feel the emotion that it's already real. Gratitude, enthusiasm, peace. The brain doesn't distinguish vivid imagination from concrete reality. When you vibrate as if it already exists, your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, starts searching for evidence of that new truth. And the world, in response, delivers. So the technique boils down to 3 cycles of deep, conscious breathing, 6 emotionally charged repetitions of a powerful affirmation, vivid visualization of your new reality focused on emotion, all in 60 seconds. 1 minute before sleep can be worth more than an entire year of effort without alignment, and the more you repeat it, the more the subconscious will accept it. In just a few days, you'll begin to notice changes. New ideas, different attitudes, unexpected encounters, decisions that once seemed impossible. Reality will start to shift. Jacobo Grinberg always said that the miracle is not breaking the laws of reality. It's understanding the deeper laws that govern it, and what you've just learned is one of them. This is where science and spirituality meet, When you decide to take command of your mind and vibrate every single day what you want to see on the outside. Most people live believing that money is something external, hard to reach, limited, reserved for a few. This belief, besides being false, is dangerous because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what if money, like everything in the universe, were a frequency? What if scarcity were not an objective condition, but a direct reflection of what you vibrate? That's precisely what Jacobo Grinberg's studies suggest. Money is not solid matter, but energy shaped by the mind. The frequency of money isn't measured in figures or material possessions, but in predominant feelings. When you vibrate confidence, worthiness, gratitude, and ease, your mind tunes into the field where abundance already exists. But when you vibrate fear, worry, anxiety, or obsession with control, you tune into scarcity, and that's what the neuronal field projects as reality. Grinberg helps us understand that money is not something you conquer through blind effort, but something you attract by resonance. And that changes everything. It is no longer about chasing money, but about aligning with what it represents in its purest form: freedom, expansion, and flow. When you think about money in desperation, you're telling the neuronal field, this is distant, scarce, and hard to get. Result, the field responds by keeping money distant, scarce, and hard to get. But when you think of money as a natural extension of your energy, as something that flows freely into your life, the field begins to reflect that in the form of opportunities, unexpected gains, creative solutions, partnerships, and synchronicities. There's a simple practice to start this vibrational realignment. Whenever you make any financial transaction, pay a bill, transfer an amount, buy something, pause for a moment and say internally, money that leaves returns multiplied. It circulates and comes back as prosperity. This simple act transforms the act of spending into a vibrational ritual. You stop associating the outflow of money with loss and begin to see it as flow. Money loves to circulate. When you block that flow out of fear or obsession with control, you close the tap of the vibrational field. But when you let money flow with confidence and purpose, it comes back, and often doubled. Another powerful way to adjust your frequency is to act like someone who is already prosperous, even before you feel that way. It's not about spending irresponsibly, but about behaving like someone who trusts in the flow. People with an abundance mindset invest in themselves. They buy knowledge, tools, experiences that expand their vision and their capacity to generate value. And value, as we've already seen, is what money recognizes. Also, create a vibrational prosperity script. Grab paper and pen and write clearly, as a prosperous person, I act in the following way. Then describe how you would behave, what decisions you would make, what habits you would have. Read this every day. The mind learns through repetition and emotion. The more you reinforce this new identity, the more the neuronal field reorganizes your reality to bring it into being. Finally, understand this. Money doesn't respond to lack. It responds to vibrational certainty. If you live saying, I need to make more money, you're vibrating lack. But if you say, abundance is flowing to me now, you're vibrating presence. And reality responds based on your dominant vibration, not on your unconscious desires. You don't need to ask for more money. You need to become someone who naturally attracts it. And that starts in the invisible, in your frequency, your thoughts, your emotions. Have you ever wondered why so many people read self-help books, watch motivational videos, repeat affirmations, and still remain stuck in the same limiting realities? The answer lies in a silent, almost invisible mistake that 99% of people make, and that completely sabotages their ability to manifest. That mistake is feeding the mental field with feelings opposite to what's desired, especially at the most vulnerable moments of the day, upon waking and before sleep. The mind at those two moments is more receptive and more prone to accept any information as truth. And what does most people do in those precious instants? They relive worries, replay problems, reinforce frustrations. Without realizing it, they plant exactly what they want to eliminate. Jacobo Grinberg explained that the structure of reality is sensitive to the emotional content you project. The neuronal field interprets those emotions as commands. It doesn't matter what you say you want. What matters is what you feel most often. And if you feel fear, doubt, haste, or insecurity while wishing for prosperity, the field records the fear vibration, not the content of the desire. This is the trap. Most people try to change their lives from a contaminated vibrational state. And no matter how strong the desire, if the internal frequency is misaligned, reality will keep reflecting the old pattern. Fortunately, this mistake can be corrected immediately with awareness and consistency. The first step is to stop reinforcing what you don't want. That means eliminating phrases like, "I am broke," "My life is stuck," "Nothing ever works out for me." These statements, even if said as venting or joking, carry a deep vibrational weight. The subconscious doesn't understand sarcasm. It absorbs, and the more you repeat them, the more true they become in your experience. The second step is to replace unconscious repetition with a daily ritual of emotional alignment. It doesn't have to be long. 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes before sleep are enough. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and declare with conviction, "Today everything conspires in my favor. I am guided, prosperous, and in constant evolution. The best is happening now." But pay attention. You must feel it. The mind only records what is loaded with genuine emotion. If you're tired, unmotivated, or afraid, don't fight it. Just accept, breathe, and gradually cultivate a sense of peace. The emotion doesn't have to be euphoria, just coherent with the new reality you want to create. The third step is to correct your focus. The mind tends to fixate on problems, so retrain your perception. Throughout the day, whenever something good happens, no matter how small, acknowledge it, appreciate it, amplify it. This reprograms your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, the filtering system, to look for more of what you focus on. In a short time, you'll begin to notice opportunities that previously went unnoticed. The fourth step is to act. Even small gestures, when aligned with the new vibration, produce big changes. An email sent, a conversation started, a course begun, a habit dropped. The mind learns through movement. And each small action communicates to the subconscious that you're taking the new programming seriously. Therefore, the big mistake isn't wishing wrong, it's vibrating the opposite of what you want. And the big correction is to flip that pattern using the right moments, the right words, and above all, the right feeling. You don't need a miracle, you just need vibrational coherence, because when thought, emotion, and action are aligned, reality responds exactly, and change becomes inevitable. Now that you know the power behind the neuronal field, the hypnagogic state, and the 60-second technique that can reprogram your reality, the choice is in your hands. What you do with this knowledge can change everything. Don't wait for the perfect motivation. Don't wait for the world to change so that you can change inside. True change begins in the invisible, in the frequency you emit, in the emotions you nurture, in the image you hold of yourself before sleeping. Start today. Reserve 1 minute before drifting off. Breathe, affirm, visualize, and above all, feel. Not as someone hoping something will happen, but as someone who already recognizes that it is happening. Transformation is not theoretical, it is experiential. You will only feel the difference when you decide to act with consistency, even if it begins in silence, in the dark of your room, with closed eyes and an open mind. This practice may seem too simple to be so powerful, but the greatest secrets of life have always been like this, hidden in simplicity. If this content made sense to you, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving teachings like this. Share this video with someone who needs to awaken to their own power. And in the comments write, I manifest with consciousness and confidence. This seals your decision and strengthens our vibrational chain of transformation. The universe is already ready to respond to you. The question now is, are you ready to become who you were born to be?